to come out of the woodwork, blankets, food, support, things like that. You just get to see humanity through sometimes the worst events that humanity can throw at you. And in these events, you just see how people cherish you, honor you, want to take care of you. And organizations like the Honor Flight, this is, and especially of 100% of the contributions, that means there's no selfishness in it whatsoever, right? It's just to serve the veterans. So we kind of touch base on financial contributions or things like that. But first of all, what is the average age? Because obviously we are all born to expire. So what is the average age so that, even the listeners can understand the urgency and immediacy of honoring these people looks like?
Well, our youngest veteran that's going with us this time is about 84 years old.
Okay.
And he's going because of the fact, he's one of our younger ones, he's going because of the fact he's not in good health.
Okay.
And that's what we do. We take the oldest first and then the most infirmed, because we want to get them there. And I do have to tell you, I think one of my favorite sayings is on the back of our T-shirts. And it says, if you can read this, thank a teacher. If you can read this in English, thank a veteran. And so we owe them a lot. Freedom is not free. And for me, it's very, very important to respect our veterans, our country, our flag. This is a very touching thing for my heart, because to me, these people are giving of their lives for us and our freedom. And so it's extremely important. And therefore, I stand for when that flag is being up, because I know these veterans have sacrificed so much.
So, again, I really want our listeners to know, because they might have been driving or something was going on, but how, again, can they reach out so that they can be in touch with you?
Again, we can only take veterans according to how much we can raise.
Or even donate. That's what I mean.
Or donate.
How can they reach you?
You can, like I said earlier, if you've got a grant, we're at honorflightsandiego.org. There are other honor flights, but we are Honor Flight San Diego. There's some in Texas. There's some in Hawaii, not Hawaii, in Alaska. But we do try to have, each one tries to raise their own money to send the veterans. And, of course, we have more veterans in our area than any other area because we're a military town.
Right. Mm-hmm. So the difference between Hawaii and Alaska, me being Canadian, I know the temperature difference. So, we'll just stress that.
Yes.
And Jesse, I just wanted to bring you into this conversation as well, because your mind might be brainstorming as to, hey, this organization, this is how we help companies. Mm-hmm. So, to take a moment or two, and then we'll get to some real estate and mortgage talk in a moment.
Sure.
Just before we wrap up the show. But what are some great ideas that you can share with the Honor Flight organization?
Yeah. So, are you guys doing anything online right now? Are you on Facebook? Do you have an Instagram account? Do you have a website?
Well, we do have a Facebook, and we have Facebook Live, which, by the way, we're going to be showing the veterans when we take off. We'll be taking a live shot when they get to the airport. You're talking to someone who's not real good in all that. I just learned how to do Facebook. But we do have one person who handles some of that, and I'd love to introduce you to her.
Yeah. So, when I look at a business or an organization or anything, there has to be some kind of revenue generation for you to be able to contribute to the world, so if you're collecting donations, this is kind of like a nonprofit launch, or, the Truth About Cancer, which did like $49 million, or the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge. So you can create something that's a movement where people can get involved. So you have this event that's coming up on Sunday. So really getting media coverage of this big event, because I've seen this on TV where people show up and it's all emotional when they come home, but I've never experienced it in person. So it'd be interesting to be there. But if you can create video and make it real so they can feel it, it's got music to it, it's like emotional. Like I'm seeing, we're here getting emotional about this story. So you create a story and you put music to it and you produce it, and now you start putting it out there, but you have like a challenge or you have a cause, like, where they're wearing pink, like for the cancer stuff, or the Ice Bucket Challenge. You got to dump ice over your head, something that can go viral where people can get involved and then they donate afterwards. So this would be something that you could create, a movement or something exciting that would gain awareness, and now you got to get some money. Now you got to promote it to get the ball rolling, and then once the ball's rolling, then the viral nature of social media will, once people start going, then you don't need to spend any more money. It's like but what you're doing, that's kind of how I would think about it. You need to first look at how are you generating revenue, get enough people in to raise enough money to organize this launch. It's like you do your test launch, and then you do your big launch. And now the big launch is exciting. You're changing lives. You're really reaching the people. But yeah, so I would, it's not something that I could just give you like step 1, step 2. This is like, I do a series of calls to learn about you. And then I would, come up with a proposal and a plan and projections and all the costs. And then we would go out there and run it, so. But that's how I'd look at it.
And for all our listeners right now, you just got a live version of what happens in a first type of meeting so that Jesse's company can take you to the next level and maybe go viral, right?
Yeah, that's that, like I've had people come to my live event and say, I've done all these videos, but I've never gone viral. Well, you haven't done anything that's exciting enough. You're just sitting there talking about real estate or doing this. Like, you got to create a movement. It's all about that. It's like Tony Robbins. You go to his event, you walk on fire. So people, they say, what did you do last weekend? Oh, I went to a marketing seminar. No, at Tony's event, I walked on fire. Everybody that goes to it, like 90% of them walk on fire. So when they're talking to you, what'd you do last weekend? I walked on fire. What? Now it's being talked about. Now it's going viral. That's what she's going to need if she really wants to do it. It's not just about, I'm great at what I do. It's got to be bigger than that.
I understand.
Yeah.
Well, again, for the listeners, that is a lesson, and that's why you need to reach out to Jesse. We have less than a couple of minutes, Paul. I just wanted to talk about the health of the real estate market. Let's just start with a quick overview of what's going on. I saw bonds were up a little bit, so for mortgages, but let's tell our listeners what's up with buying a house and what it's going to cost to finance.
Yeah, it's a seesaw right now. Rates were a little bit better last week.
Yeah,
a little bit worse this week. They've just been kind of hanging in the same range all year.
Yeah, and what I'm finding fascinating is inventory is up a little bit, but we're still hovering about 2.6 months of inventory. Mm-hmm. So not one more for sale sign goes up. We're out of inventory in less than 3 months, as I mentioned. A healthy market is about 5-6 months of inventory. So, we're not really there, but the media has been hyping up that we have a little bit more inventory, and they're saying 14% instead of what it actually means, which is nothing.
Yeah, I saw a crazy CNBC article. It's like, oh, market crashing.
It's crazy.
Well,
the media.
Now the builders have built,
right.
Then like way down in the article. Well, the builders have only built 55% as many houses as they normally build, so that contributes. You're like, oh, no kidding, that contributes to a 3% decline in sales if there's like thousands and thousands less homes that these builders are selling.
Exactly.
So it's just funny how they try to hype that stuff up. Really, for buyers, it's a great opportunity.
Right now, it is. Yeah,
they're getting better contract terms than we've seen in 3 or 4 years.
Exactly right. So for those of you that are looking to buy, it really is a great time. Don't listen to all this market hype. The sky is not falling. So if you want to reach out to me or to Paul, for me it's 760-300-9166. Paul, how can they reach you?
619-800-3229.
Thank you all for making this an amazing show. I'm Stephen Wener of Whissel Realty, brokered by EXP on 1170 AM, The Answer.